Hello and welcome back to the Inevitable Jim. We are once again on the 79 Mercury Cougar XR7. For this episode, we're going to wrap up the rest of the mechanical repairs that this ride needs. Then, we're going to stick it on the road, see how it does, and get it back on the road for the first time in I think about 25 years. And then lastly, we're going to take and detail it up as best we can to make it look as good as we can for the next caretaker. So, having said that, the paint's pretty killed on this car, and I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to do with that, but make it look as good as possible. Put a lot of thought into this, and I really don't want to get onto the paint with too much of a polish or any type of thing that's going to affect what somebody down the road might want to do paint-wise. We're going to scrub it up as best we can and give it a really good hard wash job. Then from there, detail it as best we can, so that way whoever owns the car next can choose to do what they wish to do with it. That's right, you heard it. This car will be for sale at the end of this video series. As with most of the revivals I do, I very seldom keep them. What I do is I save them from being crushed or forgotten. I want to take them and give them that second chance at life, and then more often than not, I pass them on to the next owner. So every once in a while, does one kind of creep into my heart and I hang on to it? Absolutely, but for the most part, they're for sale when I'm done with them. That's what's going to happen with this 79 Cougar XR7, but first, we got to get to work. What do you say we get started? All right. One of the last things we need to do on the brake system is the rear hose. We hadn't quite gotten to that yet. And I want to get to that before I bleed out the rear brakes. So we're going to get up here. We're going to change out this hose. But the first thing I want to do is get a little more room to work. So the brake hose mounts on top of the rear differential. And the differential is kind of, when the car's sitting at rest on these, it's kind of tucked up here in front of the gas tank, but behind the floor pan. And it's kind of up here where kind of hard to see. So I'm going to take the air over hydraulic bottle jack, put it under the frame back here, and I'm going to raise the chassis up and let that rear end drop just a little bit. Give us a little more room to work. Be right back. Now we got the rear end to drop down here a little bit. The guy can see a lot better what you're working on up here. So we're going to get in here and get started, get these lines off, and get this rear hose changed. Be back when we got this wrapped up and we're ready to bleed rear brakes. Okay, I'm going to try to get you up here. Take a peek at what I'm working on. So right here are the two lines that we are working on getting off. And as you can see, I've soaked them down and heated them up, and I'm here to tell you, yes, I was successful. I cracked them babies loose, so I am 6 for 6. Yeah, I'm 6 for 6 on the hard brake lines on this Cougar. I'm going to call that a win. Alrighty, we got the new rear brake hose installed, so time to move on to a master cylinder. Now we got to move on to the master cylinder. I'm going to place that in it too. Let's see if our luck continues, shall we? Oh yeah, that one snapped right loose. Honestly, these didn't look too bad. I wasn't super concerned. Oh yeah. Now I did juice them down and soak them up before. All right, we can switch to the regular wrenches now, so it'll go a little quicker. Still getting the emails with what you guys are working on, and I enjoy that. I do try to take the time to answer each and every one of your emails. So, what are you working on this holiday season? Send me pictures. It doesn't have to be done. Just be working on it, you know? What are your plans for it? What would you like to do?
And here is just a little Turbo Jim action for you.
Oh. Oh my. Yeah, we're gonna need to get on there with some leverage. I'm going to get a wire brush, clean up those threads, and put a little penetrator on there. Be right back. Okay, got them cracked loose. Now I'll be able to buzz them out with the cordless ratchet. Yeah, I don't want that to fall off. There we go. If that would have fell off, I'd have never found it. You know how that goes. And let's get the big one over here. This one's got a little deeper. Now guys, when you're taking something off and you can see that the threads are crusty and rusty, don't just jam it off over there. Take a second, get a wire brush, and clean the threads up. You'll save yourself a lot of headache down the road, trust me. All right, let's get this sucker off. Oh, she's gonna need a little persuasion. Oh, there we go. You got another nut hidden back there behind that little bracket for the lines. Helps if you take all the fasteners off. I didn't see this one hiding. I should have known that. I've run into it before. Brain fart. Get her cracked loose. Yeah, I'll have to get a pass on that one. Oh, we're never too old to make stupid mistakes. There we go. One old master cylinder. I'm going to get the new one bench bled up. Be right back with you. You've probably seen that 100 times, so I'm not going to bother showing you, but we'll be back with the new master. Okay, so we got our new master cylinder bench bled. I like to leave the little hoses on here just until I get it set over here kind of closer to where I'm going. And then we can unscrew these because I already have a towel down here to kind of catch some of the mess. Alright. I like to leave the master cylinder loose till I get the lines started, because as I've said before, the lines are oftentimes the easiest thing to get cross-threaded. So if you leave whatever you're screwing it into loose, a lot of times you can get that little extra wiggle or such that you need to get the angle right so you don't cross-thread them. And then you can get them started and they go right in. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get this bolted back up. So the master cylinder should be bled, and now we got to go down to each wheel, make sure that we get, I want to bleed it till we got fresh clean fluid coming out, because the fluid that was in here was pretty dark, and brake fluid absorbs moisture, as many of you may or may not know. So when it's old dark fluid, what could happen is if you get on the brakes really hard, say if you're towing or just a lot of hot driving in the summertime, that fluid, that moisture will actually boil and create a gas pocket, and your pedal could go to the floor just because of bad fluid. So anytime it's dark like that, you absolutely want to flush it till you get fresh, clean fluid. So we're going to get to bleeding brakes till we got clean fluid. Well, it's going to make things a lot easier to bleed these brakes out if the seat's in here. So before I put the seat back in, I want to get in here and vacuum what we won't be able to vacuum once the seat's back in. So let's knock that out real quick.
And there goes Turbo Jim. Don't you wish you could vacuum your cars out this fast all the time? That would be like so sweet.
I'm going to go ahead and knock out a few of the big chunks in the back here. Well, I got the vacuum here anyway.
Turbo Jim is giving you a quick reminder that merch is in at theinevitablejim.com.
Alrighty, so went ahead and wrestled the seat into place here, And the first thing we're going to do is get me some light. And now we're going to plug in the main power source here. If you remember when we fixed the seat, it's just a one main plug. So hopefully that'll give us the power back here. And then we can move the tracks, line it all up, get it bolted back in. We'll go up, hook the battery back up, make sure we got action. Oh yes, look at that, like butter. Okay, let's get us some bolts back in this thing.
And here you get to see Turbo Jim having the seat kick my ass. You always hear me saying to Richie, hey, don't let that kick your ass. But here the seat is whooping mine. So Turbo Jim, get the seat in.
I'm going to get a swivel on this. Alrighty. I went ahead and got this bolted down. I had the camera off, but check it out. We have the forward, the back, up and down, the tilt, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to put Pamela Anderson in the seat right here. She's going to help me do a little brake bleeding coming up. I did want to mention one thing. From time to time you hear a little like background staticky hissing noise. That's actually just the furnace. It is winter here in Iowa, so the furnace does run from time to time. So hopefully it's not too obnoxious in the background. But what do you say we bleed some brakes? All right, just got done bleeding the brakes. Pamela was down here to help me do it. I didn't video the actual bleeding of the brakes because she had a small window of time to help me. And so I wanted to get it done quick. Plus we had a little situation with the right front bleeder screw not wanting to seal up. Got that handled. We're going to top off the fluid here. And then I think, you know, as I've been running this a little bit more and a little bit more, not that I'm going to run it permanently on the original fuel pump, but that original fuel pump seems like it's coming around just a little bit. And honestly, I've been itching to drive this thing like no tomorrow. So I say we fill the brake fluid up here, fire it up, make sure they feel good under power. And then I say we take it around the block a few times. See how it runs. And hopefully that fuel pump will stay copacetic. If not, we're going to stay pretty close to home. But yeah, I say we take this thing for a little ride. Well, I think we're ready to fire this up, let it warm up just a skosh and take it for a ride. Well, it hasn't been on the road in 25 years. I've gone, about a quarter mile, maybe a little more. Half mile, I think about a half mile. So the right thing to do is, yeah, stick it right on the highway. Let's do it. There's second gear. There's third gear. We're doing the thing. This is another one of those cars that just, like I mentioned in the Pontiac wagon video, cars have souls, cars have personalities, and sometimes they just want to live. And go out there, find that car, give it a second chance. That's what it's all about. I want to find these cars, save them from the scrapyard, save them from just rotting away, get them running and give them a second chance at life. And I get so many messages and comments about the memories the cars I'm doing are stirring up. You remember from your childhood, or your grandfather, or your grandparents, your aunt, uncle, neighbor, buddy in high school. It's all memories. Now, why shouldn't these cars be given the opportunity to make another set of memories for the next person? So that's what it's about. This car, this car I'm not keeping. This car is going to be available for sale when we're done with the videos on it. So if you're looking for a 79 Cougar XR7, hit me up. So let's take this for a little more of a ride. I'm going to put the camera down so we can pay attention to our driving, all right? Take a little scan of the peepers. We got the speedometers working. We're doing about 52, 53. And heat's working good, cooking me out. Gas tank says we got about a quarter tank of gas, so we shouldn't run out anytime soon. So let's enjoy this ride for just a little bit. Hello, we're back in the shop tonight and back on the Cougar XR7. The other day, before Christmas, you saw we got to take it actually for a drive for its first ride. And drove up pretty good, The stock fuel pump hung in there. Pretty grateful for that, but I'm not going to trust it. We're going to change that out tonight. Hopefully we'll get to some belts and hoses as well. And I got some trim on the other side, a few other things we want to work on. So let's continue the mechanical repairs on this Cougar. Well, there's a fuel pump right up there, and it actually doesn't look terribly old. Well, obviously it's older, but it's not original, and just is a little on the weak side. So we're going to get up there and we're going to pop this thing out, and we'll get it out and compare it to the new one. Be right back. Alrighty, we got the old fuel pump out right here, and here's our new one. It looks like we have a match. The arms are the right length, shape, everything, and the fittings are the same. So let's pop this new one in. And right up there, we got the new fuel pump in place. Also down here, we placed the rubber hose. The old one was hard to rock. Yeah, this rubber hose, yeah. She's a little on the brittle side. So, new pump, new fuel inlet hose. Move on to the next thing. Alrighty, we have the petcock open on the radiator down below. We're going to change out heater hoses and radiator hoses and get those all freshed up. I also have a water pump bypass hose. A lot of times you don't notice it's from the thermostat housing down at the top of the water pump, little elbow hose. You got to change that too. And let's get cracking on those. Just a good idea to get some fresh hoses on this thing. So let's get after it. Well, we got all the hoses changed except for, unfortunately, the lower radiator hose, wrong hose. But if I'm being honest, it doesn't look horribly bad. So we're going to have to let that go just till I don't have time to get another one. So we're going to go ahead and fire back up, burp the cooling system, and make sure the fuel pump's drawing fuel, and keep moving along. Now we got the cooling system burnt. Go ahead and put the cap back on it and call this part of it done. Alrighty, we got good heat up front in the passenger compartment. I don't see any major leaks. Other than what I spilled all over the floor, of course. I'm gonna let it cool off before we do anything else on the engine, which I think we're pretty good except for cleaning it up right now. And got some trim on the driver's side here we're going to work on next. Well, hello everybody. It's the next night, if I'm being honest with you. I got a little tired last night. I've been fighting a little bit of a cold, so decided to call it quits last night after I did the coolant hoses. So we're back out here tonight. I want to tackle this driver's side trim. It came with the car. Obviously it's missing the rocker trim. It came with the car, but yeah, it's, to say it's mangled is an understatement. Not only is it bent to snot, it's got this crease all the way down it and stuff. It's junk. It's just junk. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make this somewhat straight-ish. And we're going to try to put it on here. I've already checked. There's no way these clips are going to hold any. A lot of tips are broken. And let's face it, this is probably going to be self-tapper territory. Dalton would be proud. But the thing is, if somebody really wanted to do a restoration on this car, you're going to find a new piece anyway, and you're going to fix whatever little self-tapper holes I make, and you're going to attach it with new clips. So the idea is to make this car just look decent and have a nice cruiser driver. So let's see what we can do to straighten this out. Now, I know I didn't show a lot of the doingness of the fuel pump repair or changing the hoses, and honestly, a couple of reasons. As you probably saw with the close-up shots of the fuel pump, there wasn't much room to get up there and work, so let alone once my hands got up there, you couldn't see what I was doing anyway. And with the hoses, there's a whole lot of big guy, horizontally abundant. There's a whole lot of horizontally abundant gentlemen laying over the engine doing those hoses. You know, some things can never be unseen. Something like this, however, where there's lots of room to work, I figure I'd let you join on in and see what we can get done. So let's, first off, let me see if I can't get some of these major bends out first. We'll do that mostly by hand, I would think. This stuff's just pretty lightweight tin. And then we'll get in here with some hammer action. Well, I tell you what, I think that's about as straight as we're going to get this old beat up piece of turd. Not too bad. I think we can make this look pretty decent, actually. It's one to grab onto a couple of these clips. They're pretty janked up, but if we can get it to grab a little, that'll help. It's kind of wanting to hang on to these, but yeah, we're going to have to give her a little self-tapper help. But hey, that's what it's about. It's taking what you got and making it look as good as you can. You guys are pretty good about sending me emails and showing me what you're working on and some of the projects you have. And boy, I wish there was enough hours to show you all of them, but I'm going to try to always feature a few in the videos. Whitney sent me some pictures of a 69 Crown fire truck that his brother restored, and they're down in Arizona. And it's an oddball vehicle, but I love oddball vehicle. Right here, it's a picture of it. Pretty cool looking. I've actually owned a few vintage fire trucks myself, and I'm here to tell you, they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. Now, Sean sent me pictures of his 65 Rambler, and then he sent me an update on it, and he's a young guy working away on it, and he has been working on getting it, I'm trying to think. I think he's at a 327 AMC V8. I know it's got a V8 because he sent me a little video. I can hear it running. But he's been working on this car. Here's a couple shots of it. And he just finally got an OEM factory tank to fit it, and he has it running off the stock fuel system now. So good job, Sean. Way to keep plugging at it and keep working. They just don't put trim and stuff on that on new cars like they did on that old one. Kind of like what we're working on now, trim. So I'm a Ford guy. I love my 70s Fords, okay? Now, Liberty, and yeah, that's their real name, Liberty, sent me pictures of the 76 Grand Torino right here. Now, like I said, they live out in Idaho, and they're planning a road trip from Idaho to Wisconsin and that coming up. And that's just a beautiful, clean-looking Ford. I just love those. Mark lives up in Montana, him and I got to chat and actually had a conversation with him. He's got this 1975 Jeep Cherokee, okay? Now, he's in law enforcement. We got talking about that. He's taking a temporary assignment. He's going to drive that from Montana all the way down to Texas. He's going to road trip and be down there for a few months. He's owned it about 8 months now, and he's getting it ready to go. And wish you good luck on the trip, Mark. Hope everything goes well. But there's just a few of the viewers' rides. Now, geez. I think we're going to have to do the Dalton to this. We're going to have to get some self-tappers out. So let me grab the screw gun, a couple self-tappers, and let's get this somewhat firmly attached. The good thing is this car is pretty solid. So we actually have some good metal to screw into. Okay, there's one. Okay. I think we're going to need 2 more. There we go. And then we'll put 1 more right here. Well, there we go. Got a couple self-tapper heads, but hey, the trim's back on the car and it ain't going anywhere, and that's what we're talking about. Like a lot of guys say, it's not about getting it perfect, it's getting it done. So anybody's going to do something really nice, this car's going to get a new one of these anyway, and they can fix the holes that we just put in it with self-tappers. And all right, let's move on to the next thing. There's always something else, isn't there? You may recall when we were doing the front brakes, I deleted these mud flaps up front. I got to take the other 3 off. When I drove it, I didn't have them off yet. Luckily, 2 of the 3 fasteners are already gone. Weird. Boy, it wasn't going to fall out, that's for sure. Deleted. All right. That one doesn't want to cooperate. So we might have to just, it's partially torn through already. We might just have to help the rest of the way. There we go. Deleted. Now these front ones are riveted on. Pretty loose anyway, so we're just kind of, we're going to help them come the rest of the way off. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, slow nudge. There we go. Oh yeah. Good as new. See if I'm lucky. Missed. So something I've been meaning to mention is the rear license plate is actually still on the car. However, this bracket was bent all up underneath here. And right here. March of 2000 was the last time this car was registered. So our guess at about 25 years was on the money. So I'll pop this off real quick. See if we can't straighten this license plate bracket out a bit. Oh yeah, got all kinds of debris under there. All right, let's try violence. There, that's a little more straight. Not that we're gonna put it back on, but yeah, that's about where the plate should be. All right, well, one more thing done. One of the things I've talked about when you go to clean up the chrome on some of these old cars is, yeah, you get the little rust spots and pits and stuff, of course, but you almost get this cloudy film, and even when you wash it really hard and scrub on it with a good sponge or something, it doesn't want to come off. So what you can do is just take some fine steel wool and rub on there, and it's almost like an eraser. It just takes it and polishes it right up. Now, if you're washing the car and you got water running and such, take an SOS pad. It's got that fine steel wool in it as well, and that'll do the same thing. Plus, add a little lubricity if you need it to help polish that up. So I'm going to get you in here in a second and kind of show you a little bit of a before and after on a spot. But I'm going to clean up this front bumper just a little bit. I don't know how well you can see how cloudy this is. Let's see if we can't get you in on that a little bit. Yeah, right here, you see this cloudiness right here? See the reflection of my hand, how it's all cloudy right here? Watch what happens when you run the steel wool on it. And I'm not even using any lubrication. This is just dry quad zero steel wool. So it's a fine steel wool. And just like that, you see the reflection of my hand. It's not cloudy anymore. So that's one way you can take all the cloudiness out of the chrome on some of these older rides. So I got a lot of chrome on this bumper to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop out and knock this bumper out, and we'll be back when it's time to wash the whole car. Yeah, I know I said I was gonna do the bumper and just turn off the camera, but I decided to turn it back on, chat with you guys while I was working. One of the things that I want to talk about is finding these survivor cars and how you can get a nice cruiser and a nice little project car without breaking the bank. I mean, I kind of talked about it in the holiday Q&A special, but I want to talk about it again. You just got to go take the time to look on Marketplace, take the time to look on Craigslist, wherever you're shopping, whatever means you use. Save up the amount that you want to spend, figure out what kind of car or types of cars or whatever you would like to have, and then start watching. But the biggest thing is be prepared to buy. Because when the good deals come up, sometimes they're not on there very long, but then sometimes they are. This Cougar was listed for, gosh, I think 3-4 weeks. And the situation was the price was so out of whack, and it said runs and drives good, and you could tell from the pictures this thing hadn't moved in years. So some stuff just kept irking me. And so I finally just messaged the person, and it turns out it was Dan's neighbor, Dan, the guy I bought the car from. It was his neighbor that took the pictures and placed the ad, and even Dan admitted that he didn't realize how much his neighbor had listed it for, and self-admittedly stated that I don't think it'll ever sell for that much. So then a conversation ensued between Dan and I. He named a price and I said, okay. It wasn't about beating the guy up, it was about just talking to him. The 79 Lincoln Continental that we're going to be doing next, also bought from Dan and his dad. I paid full asking price. I said, well, do you want to sell? And he said, sure. I said, what do you want? He named a price. I said, okay. And sometimes these people don't want a ton of money. They just want to see it go to somebody that's going to do something with it. Now, if you're truly trying to buy them, flip them, make a killing, and beat people up, get it as low as they can, and then sell it for as much money as you can, guys, that's a whole different game. That's not the game I'm playing here, okay? Now, every once in a while, do I get one that really turns out gorgeous, and do I market it on a national platform and get good money for it? Sure. How often does that happen? 1 out of 10 or 20, well, probably 1 out of 20 cars. The thing is like this Cougar, I'm not keeping it. I knew the day I bought it I wasn't going to keep it. But I knew it was a good enough, solid enough car to give it a whirl to see if it wanted to live again. And my intention is, as soon as this video is done, this car is for sale. It's about passing this car on to somebody that wants it. It's about passing it on to somebody that's going to take it to the next step, the next level. Holy Christ, this license plate bracket is tweaked. There we go. Fixed. Let me know if you'd be interested in this one, or any of the cars I do on the channel. They're all generally available when I'm done, and I usually just ask a little more over what I've actually got in it, or even the Lincoln coming up. The 79 Lincoln Continental, yep, that's not one I'm keeping. And you think, Jim, that's a beautiful car. Yeah, it is. But I've already got a 78 Lincoln Town car with 33,000 original miles that I bought from the original family, so I don't need 2 of them, because let's face it, they take up some real estate, okay? It's about letting the car live on for someone else, so I guess I just wanted to turn the camera back on and chat a little bit about that. I'm going to get back to polishing some more of this chrome and be back in a little bit. Fun fact I wanted to share about some of the big Ford, Mercury, Lincoln type products. They have these big grills. Some people call them a cathedral grill, some just whatever you want to call it. These big ornate grills. A lot of times these are big metal grills in these housings. So what they did to help keep the costs down and help these have self-preservation, they're actually built in to collapse, just like a breakaway mirror. So if something hits this, it's actually spring-loaded. See? Snap right back. Maybe you knew it, maybe you didn't, but now you do. Well, welcome back. It's the next day. And as I mentioned in the Pontiac Grand Safari wagon, I honestly don't have running water in my home shop. So I brought the Cougar here to my automotive repair shop where obviously I have a wash bay and running water and climate control. Again, it's winter in Iowa when it's like, I don't know, 15 degrees outside. So in the summer months, I'll be able to wash them at home, but the winter months, gotta do it here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get after this Cougar, and I've decided what I'm gonna do is just give it a good old honest scrubbing. I think that I wanna pass this on to another person so they can take it to whatever level they wanna do and make it their project. So the last thing I wanna do is put anything on the surface that's gonna inhibit or cause problems or just make issues for somebody that wants to either paint it or shine juice it or whatever. Maybe they want to just clear coat the patina the way it is. But we're going to give it a good honest scrubbing, and we're going to see how clean this car can come out. So let's get started. Okay, been at it for about an hour now, so I wanted to just check in, working away at it. And sometimes, you know, in the final reveals that you can't see it as much. So I wanted to kind of come over here and show you a side-by-side of how clean this is coming, what the difference is. So as you come across here, just tell me where the line is. That is how much just crap and oxidation and just grounded dirt and scuzz that is on top of this car. So there's a definite line on the top of the trunk lid. So got a lot more to go. I want to jump back in here and keep at it. So I probably got another hour or so left, but I'll be back to show you the final results. The paint is absolutely fried on this car. It is junk. I've said that from the get-go. But I wanted to see how well it would clean up, and that's what we've done here. I used an SOS pad and scrubbed it up. But, you know, that's just it. I wanted to take this car. I was never going to keep it. I mean, that was never the plan. I wanted to save it from the junkyard and see, do we have a viable car here? Is this something that's a good, solid base to work off of? And we've answered that question. Yes, it is. Absolutely. It's got a good engine. It's got a good transmission, rear end. We've redone all the brakes, and we've basically gone through the car and done the immediate needs. It's got brand new tires, new battery, on and on. Are there things that need to be done? Sure. But you know, when somebody buys a project car, they want some stuff to work on. So there's some small things yet to do, and obviously I would go over all that with anybody that's looking to buy it. But having said that, this car is available, $2,900. You can have this car right here the way it is now. where can you go get anything that runs, drives, goes, and stops for under $3,000, let alone being a cool classic car? Also, where else can you go for $2,900 and find a car that has a couple hours of video so you can see exactly what kind of shape it's in? But like I said, it's never about the money. It's about saving the car from the junkyard, and we've done that. So it's time to move it on to the next caregiver, the next person that wants to do something with it. And so if you're seriously interested, please, if you're seriously interested and are in a position to buy, please email me, theinevitablejim@gmail.com. I'd love to find a new caretaker for it. Until then, that's going to wrap it up on the Cougar XR7. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget merch at theinevitablejim.com. We've got hats, shirts, stickers, the whole 9 yards. I hope you had a great holiday, and we're looking forward to the new year. It's New Year's Day, 2025 today. We're just wrapping this up. So may 2025 be an awesome, awesome year for you. But let's make it a year where you get that car going. If you got that project in the garage, go out there, work on it, get it going, have some fun.